All right, Greg, we're officially live, but this is the part where
Woo!
we stall and drink coffee and wait for people to join us. So I think this would be a great time for a musical interlude, but then Facebook mutes you. Unless you do song and dance, and then
I
would
mean,
be
I
okay.
do, but that not before the coffee,
I was going to say,
because we would be
like drag.
very. That would be a very unfortunate circumstance.
You're asking too much of me to
Yeah,
perform before coffee. Yeah.
Oh yeah, anytime that I had to perform before 9 a.m., I would either ask for more money, and I would absolutely be like, this song needs to be 6 keys lower.
This is my early morning voice is very close to very late. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. My early morning voice is my voiceover voice.
Yeah. Well, that works. That works well. As people join this morning, say good morning in the comments so we know you're here.
Where are you actually physically located?
I was just going to ask you that. So I am in a small town south of Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's called Hybrid.
Fantastic.
We are little. There's I think our population is about 13,000. And that's big for us. Yeah.
Did you say 30 or 13?
13.
Wow. Wow.
Where are you?
I'm in New Orleans, so it's a little bit bigger.
Oh. You have a couple more people than us. Yeah.
A couple more. Yeah. So I'm an hour ahead of you.
Oh, okay.
It's not that
so
bad.
It wasn't as early.
No, it was not as early.
Good morning, Shannon. Shannon tunes in from North Carolina to hang out with us this morning, so that's fun. Morning, Cheryl. Kathy's here. Pam's here. The gang's all filing in. So New Orleans, I've never been there. It's on my list of places to go.
Oh, you've got to come. It's the best city
I've heard
in the world.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's hands down. And I've been very lucky to have traveled pretty much everywhere. I've been to about 130 countries plus.
Yeah.
There just isn't a city like this anywhere else. There really isn't. There's something it's just the only place I've ever been that just has this incredibly unique, I would say, sense of community, but also it's just got its own vibe, and it's
yeah, I've heard the energy there is unbelievable.
Yeah, I've been places that are awe-inspiring or stunningly beautiful, or they have amazing this or that, but this is a place that just is yeah. I always say if you're bored in New Orleans, you're a boring person.
There's something wrong with you then.
100%, because it's a city that has something for everybody.
Oh, I love that. Well, welcome to Virtual Coffee Club. I'm excited that you agreed to Instagram message from a stranger that you would come and have coffee with us this morning. But it's TikTok Tuesday, friends. So I'm really excited to introduce you to Greg Kata. And Greg, I feel like I know you, and I think being someone who is in the media field for over 20 years, I get when people feel like they know you when they don't know you. But I think I've watched every TikTok video you've done, and I love your content. And that was why you were chosen to come and have TikTok days, because your little fine joy rants brought me joy, all through COVID. And I have my friend Becky. I was like, on Coffee Club. She's like, who am I? Greg. And we're like, Greg. So I feel like I get to have a fangirl moment because you're awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been a really weird.
She's all like, she's like, Greg's on your show. Yeah. So I love that. And you you have a pretty following. You're kind of a little bit viral with your content. Was that surprising to you? Is that kind of what you've always done, or what?
No. you know, I'm not a social media person. I would say, you know, I would, I did Facebook just to stay in connection with people, like most people did. I
Yeah.
had an Instagram that I never used, just because I find Instagram to be very, you know, this is what I think my life looks like, and this is what I'm choosing to show you type situation. And I discovered
Yeah.
TikTok like I think everybody did through the pandemic. I discovered it. A friend sent me a video and was like, "You've got to, oh my God, you got to watch this," like early in April.
Yeah.
And that's when I think I joined. And then, you know, idle hands to the devil's playground. And I just, as everybody did, I had a lot of free time and I started making videos. But, um, you know, in the beginning, I was very much, I thought a lot about what I would post. It was not, I was approaching it from more of a performance aspect of like creating skits and stuff. And it was a lot of work. And it was like, oh my God, how do people post every day? How do you reinvent this wheel every day? Like, and I had a little bit of a following. And then in the fall is when things started to take off a little bit. And it just was, I'm amazed that any one person would want to follow me, let alone like 1.4 million. And it's weird because I don't even know what that is. You know,
No.
this whole the thing about TikTok is it's like I'm talking to a screen. You know what I mean? It's not like I am performing to 1.4 million people, or you know what I mean? It's like I
Yeah.
literally, uh, and even when I go live, it's like I'll have, you know, over 1,000 people in the room, and I'm like I'm still talking to a screen. So it doesn't feel real. Um, but it is, yes, it's very surprising. This was never a goal. It was never a dream. It was just sort of, um, okay, people tend to like my little stories, so I guess I'll just keep telling them.
Yeah. Do you feel like, I mean, if when you've checked out other, you can sort of tell the people that are going out of their way to perform versus people who just have that authentic, I'm just sharing a piece. I find the authentic ones are more entertaining and seem to get more following. Do you find that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think people can smell inauthenticity pretty well these days, especially because there's so much content out there. There's so much.
Yeah.
There's so much to sort of decipher through that. I mean, I literally before I signed on was watching a video that was just clearly a scripted skit that they were trying to pass
Yeah.
off as like, oh, look at this prank we did. And you know, it just was like it ruins it. You know what I mean?
Really? No.
It it's not even like bad. It's like not even like, oh, you're bad actors, which they were. It was more so just like, you know, why didn't you just
You're
do
trying
that? Why did you have to, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
stage it. Yeah.
and I've been tagged in people's videos before, and then I'll read the comments and people are like, oh, this is so scripted. This is so whatever. You know, it's, I mean, the people that perform, my hats are off to them because I think they do a phenomenal job. People that create characters that have been very consistent with that, again, phenomenal job because those characters are authentic. But like the people that are trying to pass off storytelling that's been clearly like super scripted or you know what I mean? Like, yeah, they it comes across super fake, but it's also just very disingenuous, you know, and
Yeah.
it's like I said, you can smell it and you've seen it done better, so you sort of just I scrolled right away.
Yeah. I feel like TikTok is a source of really creative, funny people in the world that I'm not sure knew they were. Because I'm like, what was their outlet? Like, what was your outlet before TikTok? Because there's so many good things.
I mean, honestly, like that's I mean, totally. But the thing for me, I mean, like my outlet was my friends. Like these stories all get told
Yeah.
to my friends, or
Yeah.
or would just get told in conversation, or to my family, or like you know,
Yeah.
um, so I mean, I think that's why I've sort of connected with people is because this is literally how I tell, you know, a lot of people ask, like, do you write them out before you do it? And I'm like, absolutely not. I just start talking to the camera and then I edit it really quickly. Um,
Yeah.
you know, the kicker of it is it doesn't really take that much time. It's very much like, and edit and upload. You know, like I've got my video for today, the story that I want to tell. I just start talking because if I think about it, I will overthink about it, and then it will be like 3 hours of me trying to get the perfect video, and then it just doesn't work. So, but yeah, I mean, like I'm basically using everybody as like my own little sort of friend group / therapist to just sort of tell these stories.
Which
so.
we love. Thanks for bringing me in. But I think
Nope.
what I love about what you do is you tell these, for people that aren't familiar, you have to go find him on TikTok, or you repost them on your Instagram too. So, but I love that you tell these funny stories about people. Like there's that fine balance of when you're making something that could be taken the wrong way. But that's what I found with yours, is that we have a good laugh at the Wanda or the whatever that you have in the story, but I don't feel like we're attacking it. It's just more like, this is what I overheard, or this is what happened, and it was weird, and it's funny, but it's still kind at the same time. Like that's a gift.
Well, I want to say that it's that I think that came with age. Honestly, I feel like it's low hanging fruit to sort of attack someone's appearance, to attack someone's lack of education, to attack someone's the easy thing I don't want to do. I do try to give people a visual, so that's why I'll say, like, you know, in my Las Vegas thing, I said, you know, looking like a drunk version of Saving Private Ryan. You know what I mean? But it's like, I wanted you to see what it looked like when the best man is carrying the groom back to the hotel at 3 o'clock in the morning after a night of binge drinking. Like, that's the visual I'm giving you. I try not to insult that, you know, not because I really, just because it's too easy to insult it, and it's just not my nature. I don't, you know, it's, I mean, I can be if I need to be, but it's, I mean, as
you can,
yeah. And I think as I've gotten more involved with the TikTok, it's sort of become this, it has become, I've been very cognizant of the fact that I toe that line, you know, where it's like, I'm not trying to make fun of something as much as just tell you what I heard. And, you know, there's a way to say someone looked like a hot mess. So instead of saying, oh, she looked disgusting, I'll say that Forever 21 dress, you know, is looking Forever 41 at 6'8", you know what I mean? So it's just like, again,
and we know exactly what you mean.
Right. I'm trying to give you a funny visual without saying you're stupid for doing that, or you looked disgusting, or you looked, you know what I mean? It's just there is that fine line, and I try to toe it well. Sometimes I cross over, but
well, we're all humans at the end of the day. We're not going to live in the world of perfection, but I think that it's just that easy. It's that easy humor that comes from it that I think makes it fun content, because you don't, I mean, I've looked through, again, like I said, probably all of them. I'm like your little stalker, but I've never felt like, ooh, that was a bit much, bud. Like, people be in content. It's always just been like, that's funny. That was clever. Maybe it's whatever you said. I'm like, that's clever. Good work. Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's good. So what do you do for, like, what's your real life outside of being, you know, a newfound TikTok star?
Well, so I'm a teacher, mainly at the university level, although I'm going to be starting a job starting next month at an elementary school here. I'm starting a theater program for kindergartners through 7th grade, which is terrifying me. But also it'll be super fun. I've worked.
You're gonna have so much
group. I know. I've worked with that demographic a lot. It's not my favorite demographic, but in a program where I only have to teach them like once a day, I feel like I am really there to sort of give them this little taste of culture and theater and my goal is to sort of just inspire them to sort of keep loving school and whatnot, because I remember what it was like at that age. School sucks. Although
Yeah.
I loved school, but I mean, but it's most people don't. And so yeah, so I do that. I do perform still, but not crazy amount. I am a trained actor. I have my master's in performance um, and my undergrad in it as well. But like I did that for a long time. That's when I was living in New York and Las Vegas, but moved to New Orleans to get my master's, and then have sort of just let that sort of chill for a hot second. But yeah, my life is pretty, I wouldn't say boring by any stretch of the imagination, but it's pretty routine at this point, which is I
Yeah.
enjoy. I like having a
Yeah.
I like having a purpose. Otherwise, like I said, idle hands at the devil's playground, and I just end up binge watching Netflix shows that really I have no business watching.
I feel you. That was like our last year and a half for most people.
Literally, I think I've seen everything on Netflix.
I'm just like, come on, Netflix, I need something new.
Like I watched,
And then they bring
Lucifer.
out,
I mean,
oh yeah, there's new episodes, so it's good.
I know, and now
That show's not so
I'm one of those
ridiculous.
people that if I start something, I have to finish it. So it's literally on my queue list because I'm like, oh God, now
Yeah.
I need to
And it just
know.
progressively gets worse, but it's like you can't stop watching.
I know, but he progressively takes off more clothing, so that is why
Yeah. It's also a bonus.
I think that's why I'm invested.
Yeah. Like, what did I start watching the other day that I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna go there? Was Sex Life.
Oh God, well there was that. It's a TikTok trend.
Well, there's that one episode
Yeah, they're like
with the
episode
big.
3 with the timestamp
Yeah.
of 19 whatever, and
Yeah.
I was like, well, now I gotta go check it out, and I was like,
I know.
and then I was just talking to people like, is that real? Was it real? Was it real? Was it fake? Like
Yeah.
it looked real. I mean, but like, what?
That they never show it again, so I feel like
I know it's such a letdown, but you know what? It literally, it's like that. What was that other? It was a movie that summer was a trend where like it was the guy was just like choking her all the time, and people were like, it was another one of those shows, and they were like doing it on a yacht, and I'm just like, you lose me at the yacht. Like I don't even have like a dinghy, let alone a boat. Like I'm sorry, like this is
Yeah.
way too high. It's way too highbrow for me. I can't.
Yeah.
Like I'm all like the locker room at least makes sense. I go to a gym, but like I'm sorry, you lose me at like a yacht off the coast of Italy. Like nope, too rich for my blood.
Yeah. But we could fall to the gym easily. Like that was just kind of weird too. Yeah. It's too much fun. So are you one of the people who, with having this over 1 million followers and kind of that piece happening with TikTok, do you get a lot of the free stuff to you or opportunities like that?
Like what do you mean?
Well, it just looks like lots of them that as they get more, like they're getting sent from whoever so that you'll talk about it on your channel or whatever else.
I get offers for a lot of it. You know, the thing about it is that it's the I mean, I've had some partnerships, like some paid promotions for it. You got to be very careful, and it's not that I mean, I don't think of myself as anything other than I'm just myself. Like I'm not like my brand or I'm TikTok famous. I mean that like that makes me throw up, like thinking about it. Not making fun of anyone who does. It's just not how I look at this. But at that same time, you know, having access to, you know, almost, you know, 1.5 million followers is something that I have to be very, again, it goes to that authenticity thing. I mean, I get probably 7 or 8 requests a day in my email asking like, hey, but lots of it is, you know, it's a lot of like commission-based partnerships. Like you get a percentage of the sales, and I just won't do that. I don't. First of all, 90% of the products that reach out to me, I'm like, have you seen my content? This makes absolutely no sense for me to be promoting this, right? I don't I don't talk about like wood whittling. Like, why would you, why would you want me to like,
Would you?
you know, like, you know what I mean? It's like, so there's a lot of like,
Yeah.
just disconnects that way. I think they look at my number, or
Yeah.
they look at my engagement rate, and they're like, oh, he, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
I do get some of the people, like some of the stores that I've done have reached out and sent me things. Like Sam's Club sent me, I would say like a lifetime supply of coffee because I forgot my coffee when I was there, and I said it in like the next video. And so they reached out, they sent me like literally, I would say like
More coffee.
30 pounds of coffee. And I'm like, I'm going to be drinking this for the rest of my life. And, you know, so we're probably going to work together. I work with a brand called Super Coffee. It's like a protein-based coffee drink that's really good. But it's the Wild West, you know what I mean? In terms of partnering and work. And a lot of the people you see, you know, I'm not a salesperson. That's never been my strength. I hate it. I hate trying to hawk something. I hate even promoting my own merch because it's like, it makes me feel like, ugh. It's just not a strength of mine. So like, I refuse to do anything that's commission based. Because I'm like, I'm not the one tracking that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who, like, how do I know that you're telling me that that's actually what I got you? But, you know, so I'm trying to be a little selective at the beginning of who I would work with if I do.
Well, and I think, I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb because I don't actually know you, but you seem like to me someone who would want to make sure that partnership is a company that you would actually want to be associated with. You know, you have morals and values and, you know, things that matter to you as a human that any old company, like, you want to know. What's your company like? What is your ethics? How do you treat your staff? What are the quality of your product? Where are you getting those products from? Like,
absolutely
matter.
and paying people correctly is also a huge part of that, you know, and not saying things like, oh, well, we're a startup. And it's like, well, welcome to being a startup. Like, you have to invest in getting the word out there. You can't take advantage of people. Like, if you're going to take advantage of me now, you're not going to ever not take advantage of me. So like, there's been a lot of those conversations where I feel like almost like I'm educating these people on how to work with, you know, I hate to use the word influencer, but how to work with someone that you want to promote your stuff. Like, you can't, you know, I mean, like that, you'll be amazed at the amount of people that reach out and they're like, this is great exposure. And I'm like, you have 6 followers on Instagram. I was like, I don't need your exposure. You need my exposure. Like, you know what I mean? So like,
can I phone the cable company and pay them with exposure?
Right. Exactly. But it's like, you know, like, it's just sort of, and because I think I have, you know, I have an agent, a performance agent that I've had since I was 20. Like, I mean, I've had, so I've dealt with like negotiating contract. Like, I think they just really think that you're stupid and that you're going to like, ooh, this is great. And we'll give you 10% of sales. And I'm like, what? Like, you know, I mean, I don't know if you saw last summer, but like everybody was promoting the coldest water, that like water bottle. Yeah. And it just said the coldest water. It was in like everyone's TikTok, and it would just sit in the background of a video. And, you know, they offered me $100 for 10 videos. So that's literally $10 a video. And then like 10% if people bought it with my promo code. And I was just like, you want me to be a salesperson for you? Like, this is not working together. I don't work for you. I don't want to sell. My followers would have no interest in the coldest water. So I don't even know anyone that's bought it other than the people I've seen on it, but
I don't know.
That was the long answer to your very easy question.
No, I love it. You're a little ranty. That's what I love about you.
I go on rant.
If you could have, like, what would be your dream company that they approached you and were like, we want to partner with you? Who is that in your mind?
Oh God. I mean, it's sad. Well, I don't know if it's sad. It would probably be Amazon. I am a ridiculous compulsive shopper. I think that's why, like, I do these shopping videos, because I don't go to store. I don't shop. So like when it really was my first time at Big Lots, my first time at Michael's, my first time at these stores. Cause definitely at Bass Pro. Oh my God.
Killed me. Yeah.
Well, that's actually the only video I've ever made where I'm actually getting hate mail.
Oh,
Which is
I
what it
wondered
is,
that,
but
to be honest. Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry.
But it's I don't like shopping. It's sort of the one,
Yeah.
I would say, like the one gay gene that like didn't enter my body. I think it's really just I don't like crowds. I don't like I hate driving in New Orleans. That's the probably one downfall of this city. And because the roads are like it looks like a war zone. The roads have eroded so much because of the water. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
shop a lot online, and I shop very compulsively in the moment. I will either see something and be like, "Ooh, I want that," or I'd be like, "You know what? I need this," and then I'll just go on and do it. So I think it would be really fun to do like a compulsive shopping, like things I've bought at 3 a.m. on Amazon that actually are awesome, or like, you know, did you know this was on Amazon? Like something funny, as opposed to like,
Yes.
because there are a lot of brands out there or TikTokers that are like, things on Amazon that you didn't know you needed. And it's this light, it's just very much an ad. I would want to make it sort of funny, like an unboxing of like,
Yeah.
I don't remember buying this, but now I know why I did. Like we all need, a sneaker cleaner, or like, you know what I mean? Like there's just, so
Something so random.
yeah, random and just fun. But I mean, but like that's who I work with. I mean, like that's who I use them a lot.
Yeah.
So I think that would be.
All right. We're
I
throwing
would
it
say
out
a
to the
really.
universe right now.
I am putting it out there. Come on,
Yeah.
Amazon.
Amazon videos. Yeah. I have no powers, so you know. It seemed like it there for a second, but I don't actually. I don't want to give you some false hope.
It's okay. I won't hold you to it if it doesn't happen.
However, if it does come true, you got to remember me and
10%.
send me something from your giant Amazon account as a surprise. Okay, we've got
Done.
witness.
10%.
I'll be conscious of your time, but one other thing before I let you go is like, so your slogan that I see on your merch, whatever, is find your joy. Where did that come from for you?
So back in 2001, about a month after 9/11, I was in New York City, and I was working with a group, an organization called, it was with Bravo, the network, before Andy Cohen ruined it and made it all Real Housewives. I don't know if you remember or not, but Bravo was an arts channel.
Yes.
And inside the actor's studio, all those types of things.
All those great things.
We did it was a program called Bravo On With The Show, and it was every weekend we would travel to a different city in the country, and we would do free workshops with like 150 kids in that city. Now, I thought it was this like amazing philanthropic endeavor. It turns out we were going to markets where Bravo wasn't on the cable, so it was a twofold, like, we'll do these free workshops, but then we're hooking up with Comcast or whoever to get Bravo. I mean, this was back in the day when like there were still cable packages and whatnot. So like,
yeah.
But so I was working with that company, and 9/11 happened, and we started to do these drama therapy workshops with the schools that were right around the World Trade Center. And it was just a way for kids to sort of express how they were feeling without having to talk about it necessarily, but perform it and whatnot. But it was so there were the teaching artists like myself, and then they hooked us up. There were like hundreds of celebrities that wanted to get involved as well. So the first day that we did one, I was sitting in a circle I was sitting next to Cyndi Lauper, and I think Harvey Fierstein was in my group, which is odd because they ended up working together on Kinky Boots like 10 years later. But I don't think they knew each other prior to that. Maybe they did, but they both were in my group. And it was a talkback situation. And somebody, I think, asked Cyndi how she got, how do you get through life, or how do you get past something like this? And Cyndi has such a very, very thick New York accent, but it's also like a very high pitched voice. She just has a very distinguishable sound that comes out of her
Yeah.
mouth when she's talking. Um, and she said, you know, something along the lines of, but literally this phrase, she said, you know, you just need to find your joy. Find your joy. Whatever makes you happy, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody, find your joy. That's how I do it. Find your joy. And so it wasn't the phrase, to be honest. It was
Yeah.
find your joy. I kept saying, like, it was that New York, like, sort of like, so I'd be like, you know what, just find your joy. I would say it all the time. And I think that's how it came out initially when I was doing the video about my neighbor who commented on my Halloween decorations. And I was like, you know what, it's 2020, find your joy, whatever brings you that happiness, find it, do it. Because we all need it. And the thing for me is like, the funny thing is like, it definitely like hit a nerve because like, I see that phrase now. I mean, I'm not saying I'm responsible, but I'm like, I see it clearly is something that the world was craving because it's on every magazine now. I get people send me pictures of like, this person says it, this person uses it. I just try to do it in a very, I try to be very not Pollyanna about it. Because the thing about it is that finding your joy doesn't mean negating the sadness in your life. I believe in a very well-rounded human experience. And if that means that you have to, you know, swim in your sadness for a week because you need to feel that, absolutely. I don't want to avoid anything. Finding your joy does not mean avoiding everything else or avoiding all the whatevers. But what I think it is, and what I've sort of have discovered in my limited time on this earth, is that joy is not Amazon Prime, and it doesn't just show up on your doorstep because you want it. It is something that you do have to seek out at times because it's there. I think that's the hope of the message is it is out there, you know. We take things for granted all the time. We take our friends for granted. We take our health for granted. We take our opportunities in life for granted. And because we assume they will always be there, we assume they are the constants. And not to get dark about it, but there are no constants in life. There are two constants: paying taxes and dying, you know? So like, those are the two things that are for sure. Everything else is not. And so when I tell people to do that, I'm not doing it from a therapist standpoint. I don't have that training. I'm not doing it from a trying to inspire standpoint because I don't assume to know what everyone's going through. I really do it to try to tell people that, you do sometimes have to work to find it, but it is there. I promise. No matter where you are in the best thing about being at rock bottom is you have somewhere to go. You know what I'm saying? The only way you have to go is up. Being stagnant is what terrifies me when I'm complacent, because then you have two ways to go when you're just in that middle ground. So I try to get people to sort of, take a little bit of charge of their life and get active in it, you know, get active in, you know, and during the pandemic, I would get messages all the time from people saying like, oh, well, now I took that pottery class, or, you know, I've never taken an improv class, or I'm taking a screenwriting class, or I'm, you know, you're inspiring me to go do this, or da da da. And I'm just like, well, I mean, great. Wasn't my intention, but I'm glad, but my intention was to get you off your butt and realize that, you know, joy doesn't always come to us. And
not usually ever.
Well, yeah, you know, or you don't have to, you know, stop trying to find your joy in defining that in other people, you know. Allow yourself to be, again, part of the process a little bit. So it evolved out of a funny sort of just the way it sounded, and then it sort of became this like, and it helped me. It really did help remind me that oh wait, and the funny thing is, since then I've had a lot of really wonderful things happen to me, and it's sort of, I don't think it was coincidental. I think it put me on a path as well to be actively trying to make the best life I can. So
yeah, which is awesome. And then you share your humor with us, and we keep on going. It's a win-win.
You just got to open your ears. People ask me all the time. They're like, do these stories really happen? Or B, why are you live such an interesting life? I was like, yes, these stories absolutely really. I couldn't make this up if I wanted to. But but B, I said, you know, it's just sort of, it does coincide with that find your joy a little bit. It's like, if you just tune your own crazy voices in your head down a little and you tune up what's happening around you, the world is hilarious. There is so, and for me, I have so many voices and my mind races constantly. Like I have full on like adult ADHD. I should be medicated. You know, and but for me, it's actually my therapy is to seriously quiet my mind a little bit and just take in what's happening around, whether that be nature, even though I'm not a big nature person, but like sometimes it's nice to be in a park, or just like losing yourself in someone else's mess is sometimes delicious. And so it's free. So if I just tell people, if you just open your ears a little bit, quiet your mind, you will hear all of these amazing conversations or a variation of.
Well, and how much more enjoyable is life when you find, hearing those conversations instead of being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're talking about so and so like that. You're like, no, make it hilarious. Like you have accidental comedies happening around you every moment. So just laugh about it.
Yeah, it's not like taking pleasure in someone else's pain as so much at, well, because there is a little bit of element of Schadenfreude, I think, of like in like, especially in Vegas people watching, especially at 6 o'clock in the morning and you're watching someone on the struggle bus and you're like, oof. But it's more so like, but I laugh from the, I've been that person.
Been there.
Yeah. Oh God, is that what I looked like? But it is more so, and again, that's sort of like we were talking about earlier, like that's how I relay these videos is I'm just relating what I heard. I'll make a couple comments about it, but like my overheard stories are my favorite because I'm just like, did she just say that? Okay. I don't know the relationship, but I'm like, and again, it's
interesting.
Just exactly. I'll let everyone else decide if it was mean or not. But yeah, the world is a funny place. Laugh it up.
It is. And what would we have done without TikTok in the pandemic?
I don't know. I really don't.
No.
I don't know where I would be. So God love it.
I bet TikTok's thankful on a really interesting level also. Yeah. It's like, surprise, we did really well. It's good. Well, I'm conscious of time, and I appreciate so much that you would come and hang out with us and have a coffee and share. And hopefully you'll join us again sometime because it's just been, I feel like we could have 1,000 conversations. So.
Oh, easily. Coffee chats are so easy. So thank you for having me.
Yeah. So don't block my email. I won't spam you or anything, but I won't get in touch if we'll have you on again because we'll want to check in a few months, be like, how's Greg really doing? Is he still finding his joy? We'll find out in 3 months. Yeah.
We'll change the brand to Find Your Anger. We'll just go.
Yeah.
We'll go.
Like he's now watching the children. Let's check in and see how we're really doing. Yeah.
100%. I think that's definitely going to have to be. That might be my video today. Is like, guys, I'm going to need you to check in on me in like 2 months because I may not be alive. I may be in jail for.
Yeah, exactly.
Reprimanding a child.
All right. for getting schooled by a child. Like, just wait for those moments. So fun. Yeah. I have a 12-year-old. I have a 12-year-old who's going on 45. So I get schooled a lot. I feel you. Yeah.
Well, it's the arrogance of youth. Nobody they don't think you lived, so they're always like, I don't know if you knew, but did you know that this is, and you're like, mm-hmm. Now, if you want to teach me how to like
mine, every time you tell something, yeah, I know. And I'm like, well, but if you knew that, you would done
it. Right.
So quit saying I know after everything somebody says to you. I said, because P.S. nobody likes a know-it-all. So tone it down.
Clearly didn't know, so which is okay.
Yeah, I know, Mom. No, you don't.
No, you didn't. You didn't, and you don't.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining us today. Friends, go check out Greg on Instagram or TikTok. You're at Gregisms, right? Is that how we find you?
At Gregisms on TikTok, at Katater on Instagram. But if you go to my TikTok, it'll link you to my Instagram.
Yeah. So great. Got it. Okay. Thank you, friend. It was so
Absolutely.
awesome to meet you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
You got to be like, find your joy. Peace out. And